Okay, so after 13 episodes, the day is finally here to get some color on this thing. I've got, realistically, the only prep work I have left is I got to put a little mask off a couple things. Just some of the bolts that the wiring harness will bolt to. I don't want to have a bunch of paint in the threads. The coupler, and that's about it. So I'm going to get those taped off, and then I get a little bit of mix the paint a little bit, get it ready to go. And so give me about 10 minutes here and we will be ready to start putting some primer on this. I'll switch your view over here to where I'm mixing the paint up. It's a self-etching primer that I'm using, since it would have been virtually impossible to try to get in a DA or scuff all the surfaces. This primer will self-etches, so it's not an automotive grade paint. I just go to my local North 40. It's a paint that's pretty decent stuff. It's not going to be a finish like on a car, but for trailers, farm equipment, things like that, it works just fine, and it's considerably less than the cost of automotive paint. So stand by. One thing nice about this primer is it's a super fast drying. You can actually top coat after only an hour of this being applied. So it lets you do the primer and color top coat in the same day. I typically strain the paint twice. Once when in the container that I'm going to be filling from the gun, and then I'll strain again when I go into the gun. Okay, here we go. I'll do the trailer first. I've got a gallon, which should be more than enough, but the fenders could always be done after the fact if need be. So I'll do the trailer first. I've got you quite a ways away because I don't want to get overspray on my camera. So okay, so it's time for the color reveal, I guess. Some of you may have already kind of caught the hint, given that a good portion of the time I'll use the trailer to haul my tractor around, and as you've seen that in the videos and realize it's a Kubota, the trailer color is going to be matched, so it's going to be Kubota orange. So let's get going on that. Alrighty, I forgot to swing you around when I started on the trailer, but basically when I primed it, because I didn't want to have to lower the trailer and raise it multiple times, when I primed it, I was pretty much able to concentrate on all the surfaces. Some of it I just had to lob it in there kind of, but it's primer, so it's the surface finish isn't that critical. But now that I'm onto the color coat, I basically did everything, all the underside surfaces that I can't reach when it's on the ground, and left the top surfaces and the vertical surfaces. So that's why it kind of seems a little splotchy. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the trailer down at this point, and that way I can concentrate on all the other surfaces with a little bit better angle and get a better finish. So we'll hopefully be able to let it down on the ground without anything bad happening, and we'll get back to painting. Sorry about that. See how the wind didn't want you to be seeing this. Okay, so first coat is done. The camera tipped over that one spot the wind blew it over, so hopefully you didn't lose too much footage. I've got first coat done on fenders and all the extra accessory parts, and a first coat done on the trailer itself. So I'm going to, there's no point in you seeing me shoot a second coat on it. It's the exact same process. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it here and then get the second coat on, and then I'll probably bring you back and put the wheels on so you can see the contrast of that and see how it turned out. So stand by. Okay, so the painting went pretty good. The wind picked up a little bit, which made it a little bit challenging, but overall it went wasn't too bad. I'm glad though that I got it done yesterday, because the wind is really blowing today, which would make it a challenge. So I'm gonna, it's a lot easier to put the fenders on without the tires in place. So while it's sitting over there where I painted, I'm gonna go ahead and get the fenders put on, get the tires put on, and get it off the jack stands, and I'll give you kind of a walk around of so far pretty much completed other than the wiring. So you can just sit back and enjoy. Okay, so that pretty much completes it, gets it mostly put together. I'll give you a quick walk around here, and then we can talk about it some. I like the coupler, left it black, touched it up with some of that satin black. Toolbox is in place. There's the battery that we talked about with that GM style hold down in there, and the little clip on the back. Got the fenders on and the steps on. Some of you may have picked up earlier in the video, both of the hub bearing covers on these two axles are damaged. That's why I didn't tape them off. They were damaged when they shipped the axles to me, so they shipped me. We're really good about shipping me 2 new ones, so I just haven't installed those yet, so that's why I didn't bother tape those off. Surprisingly, painting diamond or expanded metal is a pain in the you-know-what. So it takes way more paint than it would if that was just flat surface, because you got to come at it in multiple angles. So I had a gallon of paint that you cut 8 to 1 or give or take, so I ended up with almost 5 quarts. And I had just barely enough. There's actually a couple of cross members that are a little bit light that could have used a little bit more, but they'll be under the board, so it's not super critical. So these axles do have 2 good hub covers on them, so you can see that I taped those off, so that gives a little bit of nice contrast. The hubs are the same orange, and the wheels, of course, are satin black. So that is the pretty much finished product. So next we'll get started on the ramps are here. I haven't put those on yet. We didn't talk about this. This is a hold down bracket. Many times on some trailers, if you've seen any videos of people replacing the boards, it's not uncommon to have the board tucked in underneath the channel, both on the front and the sides. And I'll do that on this one because that kind of helps capture the boards. And some people will do the same at the rear. And so then to put those boards on there, you'll see them hook the front under. They'll prop something like a 5-gallon bucket in the middle of the board, have to put a great big bow in the board to get the back edge hooked underneath, and then pull the bucket out. Is kind of a real pain to do that. So I'm not going to have mine captured under the channel in the back. And what this piece is for, they'll still be captured, but not under the piece of channel. So they'll lay down here flat, and then this trim piece will go on there. It'll bolt down, so that will capture the rear of the board, so you don't have to bow them in place. You can just lay them in there and bolt them down. Paint wise, the finish turned out pretty good. I got a couple runs in some subtle spots and a little bit of dust, but it's a trailer, and that's what happens when you paint outdoors. So next steps will be to put the ramps on permanently, and then start both the deck boards and the wiring. I'll probably do the wiring before I do the deck boards. It might make it a little bit easier, though. I thought about, instead of trying to work on a creeper, if the swing arms on my vehicle hoist, if I can get those into a spot where it'll balance well, I'll probably just put it on the vehicle hoist, and that way I can run it up a good 6 or 7 feet in the air and work on the wiring much easier. So that'll be all that will be left. Also, to throw together the final cost breakdown to determine whether or not it was more economic to build it, or if I should have just bought it. So stand by for those next episodes.